What's up, guys? It's me, Krashy, here, talking about some Infinite Crisis, and today we're going to be talking about Enforcers. Now, this is going to be a troll video for some, this will be a very serious video for others, maybe, at least for me anyways, and the reason I'm doing this is because I just genuinely don't really like anybody who's building Enforcers right now. I think I watched the Go For monthly on EU. I watched it for a little bit, and I saw like a few AdGL builds and like a few, I don't know, maybe RGL builds even, and I just didn't think they were that great, but I don't really have anything to nitpick on them because I don't really remember who they were or what they even built. But in general, in North America as well, I just don't think people understand how to build tank. Now, the builds that they're doing, I'm not saying like, holy shit, that build is just terrible, but the order they're doing it in and like the way things are being built, I just don't think makes sense. So I want to talk about what I do, what I think is right, and then kind of show some variations as to like why I think what they're doing may be wrong or why it's just a little different. So again, I'm not here to just say like, holy shit, those builds are wrong, but they're definitely different, and I want to talk about why I think what I'm doing might be just a little bit more I don't know, I don't want to say efficient or better, but that's just how I feel. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. We're going to start with these pages. For the sake of this, I am testing out a regen page. I'm kind of waiting for the new patch to get this going the way I want it to, so we're not going to be looking at this entirely. I have a few pages we're going to be looking at, though. So I have my Enforcer PD Reflect. This is the page I run on Enforcers like 90% of the time. It's a really cool page. The Racial Ghouls actually being pretty interswappable. So this third mod, we'll talk about what's important with this mod and like what you could swap it out for, because this, you have to understand, this will be a last item buy. So I'm purposefully putting in a mod that I know will be completely like last bought, and sometimes I don't always run this, so it just depends on the game more or less too. So but 90% of the time this is the exact page I'm running. So let's talk about this Ruby of Life. Now here's the thing with Ruby of Life that you have to understand. We're gonna be getting a new Ruby in the near future, and Ruby of Life has this weird thing with it where you kind of have the option to build tier 2 or to go to tier 4. The benefit from going to tier 2 is that you instantly start your Ruby, your health collector stacking, and that's what this mod is all about. And with Ruby of Life, I really feel like this mod is needed. It just kind of keeps that health up. But in the future, there's not really a need to stop at tier 2. You either just kind of keep on going and get those awesome regen passives, or you don't build it at all, in my opinion. Like, I don't really see a reason why you would only buy like a little bit of Ruby and not all of the Ruby. Even still, like, the Ruby's just such a damn good tank item. It's amazing. It's got amazing health regen on it. It's got great health if stacked. So here's the thing. We're doing this video now, and I'm talking about build efficiency now, but my mindset is partially in the future. And the reason I'm doing that is because I know this item's changing, and I know it's not changing for the negative. It's changing for the positive. It's going to be an amazing tank item. So here's the iffy thing about it. I have no idea what kind of mods are going to come with this thing. The mod might be amazing and double the regen passive, or add 75 health, or, you know what I mean? It could be anything. Hell, if it's plus 75 health, I don't usually care for that mod on anything really, but I might take it on this. So you never know, because I'm going to be building Ruby 100%. So I'm assuming that this mod is not going to be replaced in the future. It'll be replaced by a different version of whatever they add to the game. So lately, what I've been doing, and we're going to talk about Marauders going along with Enforcers a little bit later, but basically I build T2 Marauder. Don't worry about which one, just understand I'm building T2 Marauder, and then for tanks we go straight into core build. So lately I've been doing T2 Marauder into full Ruby. So let's go ahead and hop over to the Dawn Base tab I have pulled up on full Ruby of Life. That is going to be a 3,000 gold investment, and we're talking right after I've bought my first starting item. So let's like put that 1,000 gold that we start with in the past, and let's say this is the first 1,000 or the first 3,000 gold I'm spending in the game. Now we're going to start here. We're going to look at some other builds that have been being built, and we're going to talk about the differences between these builds. So lately I've been seeing a lot of cosmic belts being built, and I'm not a huge advocate of the Cosmic Belt in an Enforcer build, but with that being said, it's not to say that I think it's wrong. It's different, and we're going to talk about that. Lately, effective-wise or cost efficiency-wise, people have been building a modded Tier 2 Cosmic Belt. Now, they've been modding this Tier 1 for plus 75 health, so it's going to be a total of 150 health at Tier 1 and 5 power damage, and then they get it up to what would that be? That'd be 200 health, 15 power damage, and 10 pen for 1250. So if we look at Ruby of Life, that would be 75 health, 7 point plus or plus 7 health regen per second, and then you start to stack for the same cost. So you're getting a little bit of damage, you're getting more health, definitely, and you're getting some pen. So, awesome. Actually, with mod, even partially without mod, great cost efficiency. Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with the item. You kind of gotta pick. You gotta make a decision for me. And lately, I've been seeing people build Cosmic Belt 2 into Ruby of Life, or Cosmic Belt 2 into something else. And that, I feel, is wrong. Let's talk about this. And I don't know exactly how it's been being done specifically. I've seen it a couple different ways, depending on who the jungler is. They're going 1250 into 3k or into 2k. I've seen some people build this up to tier 3 and then move on. I've seen some people build it up to tier 4. So you're taking your first 1,000 gold in Marauder and Pots. You're taking your next 1250 into Cosmic Belt. That's 1250 additionally, and then you're slapping 3,000 or 2,000, just depending on top of that. That's a lot of gold. I don't even, like, I wish I had some more like numbers done for you guys. I probably should have played a couple games, gotten like an average of about how long that takes me on most enforcers. I might do that in the future, so look out for that. I might be adding that in the description box below. I might pick like I don't know, maybe the top 2 or 3 junglers for enforcer role and jungle them and see what the average amount of time that gold count would take me. So that's either 3250 or 4250. That's a lot of gold. That's a lot of gold going through the game with no armor. That is not good. I'm pretty sure that might be post-Raider fight. That's just not good, in my opinion. I mean, you're tanky, don't get me wrong, you have health, but you just don't have any armor to back it up. You got regen. Hell, for like someone like Mecha Soups, you've even got some damn good damage and power penetration. But I feel, for me personally, you need to make a decision. So, looking at some of these pages that I have built out, or my page specifically, I've made the conscious decision to go on ahead and go straight into Ruby of Life. So, my Ruby of Life, my purchase is going to be cheaper than going both or partially both or whatever. I don't know. I'm not necessarily just talking about costs here, but it's more of just like one solid big item, and then I can move on and start building something that I really need. Now, with that being said, let's move on. And again, we're not really nitpicking at numbers. We're nitpicking at stats. We're nitpicking at, like, what do you get for what you're paying? So, let's move back to my decision, or to the Dawnbase page, and we're talking about my decision. So, I've spent my first 3,000 gold. We're right here. Again, it just depends on the player that's been building it, but you may see something like 1250 into, you know, that's 2,500. They're like around here to here at that cost. So they're still building up their Ruby of Life. They've got a little bit more to go, and yeah, they will eventually get more health than me because they've built over to this point. I'm already moving into my next item, which like in current meta, 9 out of 10 times is going to be my Mirror Masters. Now with Mirror Masters, it's an amazing item. Because I mean, you guys know Mirror Masters. It's a health. Actually, let's pull it up so we can take a look at it. Mirror Masters is a 150 health item, which is not on the super high end, but it has the 50 power armor, which is a really good amount of power armor, and then 20% reflect modded up to 30%. So this is just disgusting. I mean, I don't, like, cost efficiency wise, I don't know about health or anything like that. I think it might be a little low on health wise, but just overall, meta item, amazing pickup. Most team comps are ending up with multiple power damage champions, so there's little to no drawback by running this modded, and it's good. So, boom, easy pickup from there. Now, next item is a bit controversial as well. I've been seeing a few different picks, and the one that I specifically want to talk about is dasaros. I'm just so sick of people building this fucking item, man. Like, most team comps are ending up with 1, maybe 2 AD champions on a team, and it's such a shit tier item. Like, it's really just not that strong. Like, it's got low health. I mean, we gotta compare this health and armor to other armor items, and if you mod it, yeah, you're getting 25% attack reflect, but this is nowhere near as potent and as strong, and I think the whole community knows this is nowhere near as strong as the Mirror Masters. It's easy to buy, I get it, but I think it's not as effective. It's a weak item in my opinion. It's good in some scenarios. More often than not, it's weak. Now, let's take a look at some other AD armor, attack damage, or attack armor items that we could build. There's a few main ones that I want to talk about, and I want to talk about which ones I tend to build and which ones I think are just genuinely strong. Now, we have Booster Gold's Power Suit, and Booster Gold's Power Suit is literally, I think, the best AD item, or attack armor item in the game. This item gives you 250 health, 10 armor, or 10 less armor than Dasaros, so 40 armor. It gives you cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction is huge. Like, cooldown reduction is amazing on literally any champion. There's no wasted stat here. And then you get the 20% reduced damage from turrets. Like, if you want to be a tank, if you are a tank, what? Like, this needs to be like your third item or something. Like, it needs to, like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is an amazing item. This is so insane of an item, it just blows my mind. Now, I've been doing some experimentation, and I'm trying this item out, but Fragment of Mogo is actually pretty damn good. It's a bit aggressive, though. Like, there's no particular reason why you pick this over another AD attack armor item, but it's actually really good, so don't count this out. I mean, it's essentially the same thing as this without real hero and cooldown reduction, but it brings damage to the table. So you take a percentage of damage, and this is getting buffed in the future, just a side note. You take a percentage of your damage, you actually dish it back out, or of your health, and you dish it back out as damage. So it's pretty good. It's actually really cool. It goes really, really well in tandem with Power Reflect. I mean, you end up literally just pushing out damage on whoever you're standing on. It's a really cool item. I'd like to see it built more. And the reason I'm talking about these armor items is because they don't need a mod. Like, none of them. They're just good, man. You can mod one of them, and I'll talk about that in a little bit whenever we move on to, like, the next segment or whatever. So we're looking at the attack armor items, and I'm basically saying that Metallus, Fragment of Mogo, and Booster Golds is all better, and they're just better than Dasaros. They all build same 3 tiers, 750, 1500, and 2750. And Dasaros is a 4-tier build that is up to 2750 with low stats and has Reflect. So you're basically buying Reflect in a meta that's more often than not power damage heavy. Now, there's a couple different scenarios. Now, we've lately been seeing potentially double AD carry come back into meta, but with double AD carry, why wouldn't you just pick up Metallus Heart? Like, this is the obvious choice. It gives you 200 health. This one's like kind of like a mix a little bit. It gives you a little less health. It gives you the same armor, so it gives you like less health than this, but more armor. You know, more health than this, but the same armor. And it gives you 10 cooldown reduction, so you're seeing that similarity to Booster Gold's Power Suit, and you're actually getting the dampening aura, which is literally the reason you would build this against double AD carry. If you have Dasaros modded, and you're just like living in the past, like you really are. Like, you're going to be seeing more double AD carry comps come out, and you're just going to be wasting your time because you could have had Metallus Heart. And if you have a page set up for Metallus Heart, you could actually mod this for the improved dampening aura. I mean, or even 15 armor. Like, it's just that would be a 65 attack armor item with a good aura on it, or you can increase the aura a little bit. Like, I don't know. Maybe this mod would be better. I actually haven't even looked at that. I didn't even think that was on there. So let's take a look at this page I've got down here. No, it's right here. This is basically a double AD carry page. Boom. I go Marauder into full into Metallus. Boom. I know I'm not as worried about getting Mirror Masters in this particular build because I'm not worried about their Enforcers or their Blasters. They probably don't even have a Blaster if I'm running this page. And then boom, I just move on into more items. Awesome. Perfect pickup page. So let's go ahead and go back to this and let's talk about the rest of this page as we move in through the build. So, and this is literally like any Enforcer. This is just what I do most of the time. So let's recap. We've got Marauder 2 into full Ruby for me. And then I go full Ruby 9 times out of 10 into modded Mirror Master. So we're going to be seeing 2 mods out on the field already. I'm really, really healthy. Assume this is about 600 health stacked with great regen. Assume, just, you know, let's say I'm an amazing player on that game and I have all my stacks and I'm not dying. Then I've got this item. I've really quickly got into armor building. I'm not, you know, delaying my armor builds. And then I get to pick without being pigeonholed into what AD item I want. They don't need mods. These 3 items, they don't need mods, and this item is just not worth it in my opinion. So, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't think that Dasaros is worth it in my opinion. I think it's a bad item, kind of overall. It's okay. You can maybe get it later unmodded if you really think you need it, but you don't need it right away. So, where do you go after you've got these core items? You can go into a few different options. Let's see. There's a few different options you have. So basically, there's a lot of health items that you don't really need. I mean, there's no like none of these auras you really could really need to get. Spear of Destiny you don't need. I mean, a lot of these items you just don't need. So you have a couple of options for like aggressive building. You could go like a belt if you don't already have one. I mean, you could go like a royal seal, but again, you have the option to just get tankier. So what I've been doing lately is just building my Raish. Raish modded it's so annoying. They basically have to kill you twice. I mean, it causes a lot of problems, and you have it modded and you keep it, and it's a big source of armor, and it's just a huge item when you mod it. It's actually a really big item. So I'm pretty much fourth buying it, and if I'm not fourth buying it, it's because I'm having some problems and I'm ending up picking up another item. Entropy Aegis, or at that point in time, Dasaros is a really strong item, or just another really strong armor item. I mean, you're constantly building health on a tank. You're constantly building health. Pick up a Mogo, do some damage. They have a Wonder Woman or a Sinestro or a Star Sapphire, anything. It doesn't even matter. Pick up an Entropy Aegis. It's got a skill block and a bunch of health. There are better options out there than early buying some of these items that you're getting, like modded Dasaros, like Cosmic Belt, things like that. So I'm just trying to shift some players' mindset into understanding that you don't want to buy armor. You don't want to get your first additional armor 18 minutes into the game. You don't want to do that. You want to get it quick. I'm getting tanky as I feel I can get without jeopardizing the rest of my build, and I'm going straight into whatever armor item I needed without feeling restricted. The only restriction I have is that I know if I'm running my Mirror Master page, I'm buying Mirror Master. Other than that, I can buy whatever 80 armor item I want, or I can run my double 80 carry counter page and pick up this as soon as possible. Stop pigeonholing yourself. Stop building Dasaros modded. That's what I have to say. Now, there's something else that I haven't discussed that needs to be talked about, and I think it was started by Mystigen. And this is something that is actually correct, but I feel like it's been executed slightly, poorly. Cosmic Staff in an Enforcer build. Cosmic Staff in an Enforcer build it's good, but it's a big trade-off. Like, you're almost not really playing tank at that point. Like, I feel like you're playing like Enforcer Bruiser at this point. When you make the conscious decision to spend $1750 or $3K on a damage item, you're putting health and armor really, really far behind. So I've built just now I built this, and I'm not sure how I like it yet because I haven't even played a game on it. I built my version of Bruiser Enforcer, and this is what I think it would look like. At this point, I'm not sure you can afford to go Marauder 2 into Cosmic Staff into Ruby of Life. I don't think you can afford that. You're gonna be the squishiest tank in the game. Like, you're nothing. I definitely don't think you can go Marauder into Cosmic Staff into Belt either, because it's the same scenario. So here's how I would construct this page right here. I would either build Marauder 2 into Cosmic Staff into the rest of my build, pick up the Mirror Masters if it feels appropriate, and then go into 80 items, and then pick up 80 attack armor items, and then go throughout the rest of the build as normal. Or I would replace this with a belt. For the sake of it being an actual damage build, I actually like the Cosmic Belt, or the Cosmic Staff. I think it's a damn good item. I've seen the damage you can put out on Mecha Soups and on Mecha Soups and on Swamp Thing. I know it's there. Like I said, I've seen the damage on it, but I don't like how squishy they force themselves to be for so long. Now, if you're doing a build like Dak has done, that's a bit more, that's a little bit not even considered Enforcer. And I can't really say that the build is bad, but I do have some issues with it. And I should have gotten some more screenshots and such, but Dakinger, I believe, was going Marauder into Belt 2 into Fatalities. Now, that's a big commitment. At this point, you're not even a tank. I wouldn't even consider yourself a tank, and you need to make sure that on your team you do have a real tank. So, again, that's something that's hard to touch on because I can't say it's right to build that way, and I can't say it's wrong to build that way because it's literally not even touching into the Enforcer field. This is kind of like the hybrid-ish damage-dealing Enforcer. You could maybe throw belts right here or something, but you have to realize that the majority of my argument when it comes to building enforcers is how long are you forcing yourself to be squishy, because people really do allow themselves to be squishy for a really long time. And the same thing goes for Shazam builds. I've been seeing a lot of Cosmic Belt on Shazam, and I don't really understand it. Like, Shazam, you're meaning to be an assassin with your ult, correct? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't get it. Like, you want to go, in my opinion, you want to go, like, Marauder to Fatalities to, like, Starheart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to get really, really big, really fast on Shazam. I just don't understand why people are modding plus 75 on tanks. Like, plus 75 health is, like, not even that big, man. Just build, like, the proper items, get yourself tanky, or get yourself damage if you're going the bruiser / damage route, and do it. So that's really all I have to touch on. Again, I think the thing with Ra's al Ghul is depending on certain builds, you can actually swap this out with another armor item. If you really knew you were going to get it and you don't like Ra's, that's kind of preference. But I think 6-slotted this item is really, really nasty. For the sake of saying it, this is my Shaz build. I've been going Marauder 2 into Fatalities into Starheart, or I go Marauder 2 into Fatalities into this if I'm getting dumpstered, and then I slowly pick this up right after. Like, I'm not trying to delay my damage at all. Most of the time I pick this up last or whenever I need it. It's you know what I mean? It just depends. So that's pretty much what I want to talk about. In the last section of this video, I'm going to cover Marauders really quickly because I do feel like it's slightly relevant, but it's a really, really quick topic. And I'm not going to pull up any of the math that I did on it because I don't really think it's important. Basically, my thought process with Marauders on tanks is that on Coast City, especially on GD, I think this idea was a little bit different. On GD, you kind of built Marauder 3 and sometimes even Marauder 3 modded because you knew that you actually needed the clear time. Like, on GD, that was the thing. You needed the clear time. Like, you couldn't get away with jungling Wonder Woman without Marauder 3 because you would be really fucked. Like, an assassin jungler would just out-jungle you because you can't keep up. On this map, it's all about just being the best version of the tank you can be. You know what I mean? So, on this map, I've been just doing Marauder 2 unmodded. There's no real point. Like, you don't need the clear on a tank because you're already slower than an assassin anyways. You know what I mean? Like, my argument where I'm making my AD knife, like, argument where it increases your clear time, it's not really relevant for tanks because tanks are already slow at clearing, so it doesn't really matter. So, with that being said, there are 3 tanks in the game that I personally think building Shield 2 on is better than building Ring 2 on, and that's going to be API, Fat Joker, Gaslight Joker, and Wonder Woman. If you actually do the math on their starting jungle ability, I think it's Q for Fat Joker, E for Wonder Woman, and Q for API. You actually get faster clear level 1 with a 2 shield. So everybody else I would build Ring on, especially like Mecha Soups and such. Shazam, they just scale harder with the extra power damage. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit out of this video. Again, wow, this is actually really long, me talking about some enforcer builds, and feel free to discuss them because there are a lot of preferences. I'm trying to get people to realize how long you take to get tanky and the type of items that you're modding. Like I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of tired of seeing the modded dasaros when the item is just not even that good, and you have a lot of options. You have a lot of options that you don't have to mod. Like, the best thing in the world is when you have a really great item that you don't have to mod, because that's like, it's like a free mod slot. You know what I mean? You just get it for free. So hopefully you guys learned some things. Again, feel free to ask some questions. I know this is a bit controversial, so some of you guys can take it as a troll, some of you guys can just take it as some good old-fashioned content. Shout out to Mistagen. I appreciate that. Even though he doesn't agree with me, we get to make this stuff and it's fun, and that's what we're here to do. So GG's to everybody in these last couple of days of Go For, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm definitely excited to be back in IC and just enjoy the times. You know what I mean? Like, I can be a troll, I can be an asshole, you guys cannot like me, but who gives a shit? Downvote if you want, upvote if you want, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch and Twitter, and